What's that, the Blue Note?
Yeah.
John Mydos, I represent the Blue Note. Blue Note has been actively trying to sell this location, a license. They have it out to Century 21 Hughes. George Vanos is a person, the salesperson who's actively soliciting purchases for the location. Request taken into consideration. Two other cases she's been before you, and one was outright denied, the other one was semi-denied. The personal transferee would request that you give us, say, 3 months to be able to put this out, come up with a buyer, available flower.
Is she a listing agreement?
Yeah, with Hughes.
Can we get a copy of that? We asked that from our last time, that's why.
Oh, okay. I'll get that from. I'm pretty sure, I know this sign, because they answer the phone with me all the time. They must have one, if not, they play.
Subject to
The listing?
the listing agreement, motion to table?
Yep.
Thank you.
All in favor? Yeah. So we've done two versions. No, we're not doing that. And go to 61 Franklin Street, I believe we have something here. What else?
I gave Jeff a letter.
Yeah.
On behalf of Tedeschi Food Stores, is the owner of the property. They have to give approval to a franchisee for the sale of alcohol at the premises.
Okay.
And we expect that that's going to happen. Tedeschi's has other stores with beer and wine.
Any questions?
Which
Summer Street, corner of Summer and Light.
motion to table?
Yes,
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Second, the other one, about city council.
Yeah.
We'll find that out, won't we?
Question.
Okay. All right. And then we have a hearing for Lone West Stroke Cafe. Overcrowding.
Right here.
Okay. According to this report, the club was overcrowded.
His position is that he does have a strict procedure that they follow, and they do have personnel assigned to the door, they count people as they go in, they do have counters that they use. And he does have employees here that are ready to testify to those facts. They had a count of 177 according to the report. Police had
Police had a total of 210.
I was. Myself and Officer Kelvin were in different cars, different locations. Didn't compare at all, just at the end. It ended up being, he had 210, I had 205. That's basically it. We started at 12:30 and the last person came over.
How many patrons are you supposed to have in the club?
Only
What is it?
180.
180. Okay. And if we split the difference, they had 200. You had 205, 210, 200. How do you count your patrons?
He do it, plus when I saw a lot of people inside, I give them
machine or whatever, to another security, they count to compare if they're the same. And he told me, no, it's okay, it's the same.
What do they do when people leave? How do they deduct those and then add the new people to it?
How you doing, Pedro?
No, I got 180 people. I go inside. It says close the door 12:30. Actually, everybody inside. I don't know. Before the people go outside, again, how many people go inside? I say the machine inside. Maybe only 70 outside. I don't know. Understand why too many only people inside. Okay, close the door 12:30.
Use the standard counter, right?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
my question is, if you start counting it, what time do you open, 10? 10 o'clock?
Open at 8 o'clock.
You open
start
at-
open right
so from
away,
8
you
o'clock,
start counting.
you start counting, and then at 9 o'clock, 5 people leave. How do you adjust the number?
No, okay. I'm sorry.
Because the clicker only clicks up, it doesn't,
Right.
there's
That's
no
what
way
I'm
to
saying.
turn it back. So you'd have to go all the way back to
Reset.
0, and then click up to whatever number you were.
That's what I try to do at 10:30, depends, I see a lot of people. I count, I give to somebody count inside, and they don't check
Yeah, that's
to
something you
compare.
have to do. Count inside.
How many employees were working that night?
5.
5? That counts too.
Yep.
Even us, when we were there, we counted.
Cook.
I don't know how can this happen.
It's you, the bartender.
I tried to make sure it's the other canal, I asked him 2 or 3 times, Pedro, how many people you got? I'm really serious about that.
You charging a cover that night? Was there a cover charge that night?
Yes.
Do you have the receipts for that, as to how much you received? How much you brought in? I mean, you should have a figure for that.
We don't make
That'd probably be the most accurate count, because if someone leaves, they're not gonna pay again. So there has to be some stamp or something you put on their hand.
Or there could be 300 people that have paid, you know.
But at least there's some type of record we can look at this point in time.
Was there a line outside the Texas Culture?
No.
At what point do you establish a waiting line?
I've seen one there before, I have, but not that big one.
Yeah, well, when you're establishing waiting lines, because you're at capacity, say office group. There was an incident that happened there that we actually had to call the officers to actually, we saw that it was getting a little bit out of hand. Also, the officers have come after that event and have seen that we're in compliance. Also, we've been counting employees going all the way out at the end of the night just to make sure that all the numbers are accurate. So there's really 3 counts right now, coming in, then random, and then sometimes on the way out, depending if we are at capacity. Because if we're not at capacity, then we're not going to be counting people going out at the end of the night, just to make sure that the numbers are correct.
Mr. Sedano, is that how I'm saying it correctly?
Yep.
You're the owner, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you gentlemen are your staff. My first observation is this: when the board's asking questions, Attorney Phelan, the police are asking questions, you're looking to them for answers. It's not the way it works. They need to be looking to you for answers. You need to know what's going on. Last about 3 questions, you look to them, that's not
It's a
good.
bit of a language barrier, I don't know, for myself, I mean, doesn't speak French or anything.
Well, I think you better figure it out fast, because you've been in here, I don't know how many times recently, and we haven't taken any action against them, but you've been in here, I don't know, 3 times?
3 in a row.
3 times, 3 times.
In a row?
3 nights. Yep.
Do you understand what I'm talking about? You need to be in
Yes,
charge,
yes.
not them? 'Cause they're gonna, for whatever reason, they're gonna do whatever they want, basically, and it's gonna come back on you. It is coming back on you.
Excuse me 1 second, the clerk needs your name.
And Jeffrey, I'm the manager. Jeffrey Chiara.
Did you have?
Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think she, last time she had my.
Well, she doesn't right now.
Oh,
She asked
okay,
for it.
Jeffrey, Geoffrey. Spelling your last name. Yeah, Quijada.
Are you the manager of record?
Yes.
No,
No?
Mr. Sedano.
To my knowledge, that was it.
Well, you have to come before us to change, transfer management.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I thought I was the manager of record.
Who was the manager that night?
I was.
Were you there?
Yes.
We're always there, both of us.
How long have you owned this?
16 months.
16 months.
Yeah, I'll go back 16 months and see how many times he's been in here.
I know.
I don't think he's missed too many months. Can
Okay,
you,
as of
you were doing the
2011,
count, correct?
okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Could you answer the question that the police officer posed?
I understand a little bit from my English, a little bit.
Okay. I come into the building, I'm one.
Yeah.
3 more people come in, I then leave. How do you account for me leaving?
I think, see, 4 people go inside, 7 people go inside, and 4 people go outside. I put a stop, I need 4 people inside. See, 4 people come inside, I understand, I need 10 people go out, okay, I gotta sit inside, more 4 go inside, now I gotta 10. My thing, I stop. I die, I work for here, I die, I never got a mistake, something like this.
So you think that's
You understand
accurate?
what I'm saying? I understand.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
You have to say, all right,
Okay,
4 people
he's-
come in without me clicking.
Yeah, I understand, it's why you don't got a mistake about that.
I don't think that's an accurate way. And
Yeah,
apparently it isn't.
what happens if you get called away from the door and somebody else comes to take over? I mean, they don't know what number you're at, it's not a good system. Not a
I
good
work
system.
like that, maybe I got a mistake, something, I seen it police one time, it's come outside, so got it on the people, police, I got the same thing. See, I don't know, maybe it's him, maybe I got a mistake like that.
So the 2 police officers made a mistake, but you didn't.
I don't know, I think I got a mistake.
What percentage of sales of alcohol versus?
Not a good system, you gotta come up with a
No.
better system.
Maybe he's saying.
Can I ask Mr. Sedano another question? You testified, I believe, that you were charging a cover that night? Cover
Yes,
charge? How much was the cover charge?
$5. $5? $5.
You're doing it again. You should know.
Because he's on the door, you know, sometimes I wasn't sure, because he's on the door all the
You are the
time.
owner. One of the charges is lack of management and control. That's you.
Yeah, no, I do that, it's just the
That's
manage
you.
control, I do that every week, every
They
day.
charged you $5. Who got the proceeds from the cover charge?
That's like tomorrow, you call it, tomorrow.
I don't understand.
And promote it.
Tomorrow.
Okay. So he took, so you didn't get anything from the cover charge?
No. We start the liquor, you know, we bring the people, got the people, I don't try, I don't bring the shop.
Who was the promoter?
I think that's name is Ewi, is the name.
He got all of the cover charge?
May I say something? It's also DJs that have to be paid on behalf of that particular event. Sometimes there's 3 people already on contract to be paid off. So promoters in charge of the door, the profit is divided among that particular group. So that's pretty much how it goes.
But the promoter doesn't care about his license, they only care about how much money's coming in the door.
We emphasize that a lot, where we got to protect him rather than anybody else.
Fully agree with
Do
Excuse
you
me,
get a
sir.
copy of the receipts?
I have no
Was-
knowledge of
Mr.
that.
Sedano, do you get a copy of the receipts?
No.
Because that would be a good record for you. You should start asking for a copy of the receipts, because that would definitely tell you how many people were in the establishment. And you could bring that here as proof to.
Strange feeling.
Well, but at least it'd have some paperwork.
I'll advise him to learn from this mistake and revise his procedures accordingly. Try to have some backup in terms of.
So would have been a good suggestion to have 2 clickers at the door as people go in or going out. That's something that could change that.
One clicks and going out.
1 click going in and 1 click going out. I think that's a way of changing
But I
things.
can do the math.
It'll be
Make sure you
accurate.
get someone good with math.
Thank you.
Okay.
a motion that we, the board find that the following violations occurred. Overcrowding, lack of management control, and failing to heed the warning of the board of recent violations. The first motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I would follow that up with a motion that the board impose a 3-day suspension for the charge of overcrowding and a 4-day suspension for lack of management control and failing to heed the warning of the board. It's a total of 7 days. That suspension will go into effect 10 days from now on June 2nd. What about, I have no desire to hold it the bands.
Not, honestly, no, because it's becoming almost out of control. And then,
It was a question.
no, it just, I'm very frustrated that month after month we have something with this establishment. And there's always an excuse of why it happened or why it didn't happen, and, but nothing seems to be changing though. So I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And you have a 10-day appeal period once you receive the letter. So that'll give you an opportunity to talk to Attorney Fagan. And I would advise you, Mr. Sedano, to be more involved immediately. And you better talk to this promoter and talk to these gentlemen and make sure this money should be coming to you. You own the establishment. When you turn it over to a promoter, you put your business in danger. That's happening here tonight.
Roger. So you'll be with that? Okay, and then, hearing on Charlie Chance.
Oh, is it?
Thank you. I'm all set. Okay. Okay. Mr. Good?
Right. Jim Lou is the manager. I'm trying to stand right now.
Before we begin on this, just so I can, on the notice, there was a improper date of the hearing.
Yeah, he knows that.
And he has no problem?
No, I talked to Debbie today about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Right.
no problem. I just want to put that on the record.
Yeah, there's another one that's kind of next to it, but he had no problem.
Okay.
Debbie did ask me that.
All right.
I think it was just a typo.
That's right.
I read the report. And I guess I have a couple of questions that I could either Lieutenant Hurley or Detective Panagopoulos can answer based on what I didn't see in it. But let me just describe. Charlie Chan's is the name, and implies a Chinese restaurant. It's on Union Street in a tough area that the police are very active in. But about 70% of the business is food, and 30% is alcohol. And typically the people who come in and order takeout sit at the bar or may order while their order's being prepared. That night, Ming was there, the bartender was present, the cook was present. And I think the officer's familiar. It's sort of divided in two as you come in the door. There's the food area, and then you can go into the bar area. I think that it's clearly visible from the street because they have no signage, which I think is a positive step in the windows. So you can view the licensed premises from the street. Ming and the bartender don't know Miranda or Rivera. Apparently, it's my inference from reading the report that the police knew at least Miranda because they called him by his first name or whatever. Ming tells me that those two individuals weren't regulars, that Rivera, and this is one of the questions I have, was on the food side, but I understood that he was sitting at a table with other people. There was an older couple
That's correct.
Okay. Ming knew the older couple as customers. He did not know Rivera. And he clearly doesn't know Miranda. And he says to me that Rivera had been there about 15 minutes. My next question was that, I don't know whether the police searched the bathroom. If they did, they didn't find anything.
We did, nothing was found in the bathroom.
Okay. So that I sort of assumed. I didn't know. With respect to the bathroom, I've had these conversations before with Ming, and if two people get up, two men, say, to go use the men's room, they prohibit that. That is a sign to them that something's amiss. And they regularly check, Ming's there most of the time, I think the police can attest. They regularly check the bathrooms. So what we have is an individual who ultimately gets charged with possession. The real question for the members of the board is, what knowledge did Ming or the bartender have, and what can you impute to them based on this report? Well, I would suggest to you that, firstly, the individual who's charged with trafficking, the report notes that the stop was done at 190 Union Street, which is clearly not the premises or the parking lot of the premises. And again, I'm not a police officer, but I guess that the trafficking is with the guys in the truck, because that's when the police went to act. And obviously the truck's parked outside with these two people from out of town. So the distribution with an intent to traffic or whatever, that occurred not at the licensed premises. Then you're back to Rivera, and he's charged with possession. The advantage the police have is they can search him. He had whatever he was in possession of hidden on him. I mean, he had it folded up, and the officers asked him, and he must have thought he could fool them as well. But then they had the right to search him, and that's how they found him. So they charged him with possession, all right? But the real question is, if he's not using drugs in the premises, in the presence of the manager or the bartender, and the individual who's trafficking is doing it outside with people from Raleigh, and what's the responsibility of the owner and the manager with respect to the knowledge that drug trafficking is going on? Now, the police say they have information, and in past cases I've told you it's not an unknown strategy. I'm certain the police will tell you that drug dealers go to public places. They go to public places because they feel secure, and that they're less likely to be observed or apprehended. And the police may have information, but it wasn't shared with me. And he had no basis that night previously as far as whether these people were using the premises for drug trafficking. So that going forward, I've urged him again, but typically the best thing is what he told me, is that he knows his customers. He did not know Rivera, but he knew the couple that were at the table with Rivera. He doesn't know Miranda at all. So he's got a pretty good handle on who the people are that are his regulars, and who's coming in to pick up food and who's waiting to do whatever. And so I would think the police acted correctly if they went and searched the bathroom, because one of the things I thought when I read the report is, well, maybe they thought, because I'm not a drug dealer, I don't know if I think like one, but maybe they thought it was stashed in here or whatever, but they didn't find any. And then, with respect to this individual, as I say, they had the right to search him. He didn't. Guy's not smoking a joint, or he's not shooting up. He's got something, secreted in his pocket. When the police come, he lies to them and says, no, I don't, and then they find him. Obviously, the manager can't search the patrons, and the bartender can. As far as the guy, again, I surmise because they called him by his first name that he's known to the police, so they had an advantage that the owner didn't have. But if the police have information or additional facts that they want to bring to him, he's not going to lose his license because he's got a tough spot. I think he's been in here
6 years.
No, I'm saying, but he hasn't been before you, I think, in a long time. And again, this is the kind of place where, if you saw in terms of the receipts, that they sell Chinese food. That's the bigger part of the business. It's not selling alcohol. It's certainly not allowing people to distribute drugs.
Madam Chairperson, could I ask Megan a couple of questions? First of all, do you know these individuals or got
No,
your name?
I've never seen them. And even my bartender, I asked them, I asked her, do you know them? They didn't, never seen them before.
Have you taken any action to ban them on the premises?
If they come in at the bar, I don't want them here, but I've never seen them before. I mean, I don't even remember what they look like. To be honest with you.
You might want to give them official notice. Are they still around? or-
I can, yeah. They are still in fact around. I can tell you that it's not often that I agree with Sam, but I do agree on a couple of points. Oh, I would say, I will point out one thing that Victor has been in there plenty of times. I've seen him in there plenty of times. The only other thing too is we were in there about a good solid 10 minutes and he didn't even know we were in there. The owner, he was behind the counter eating noodles. And then all of a sudden he snapped to attention. A good solid 10 minutes, about 4 or 5 of us in there. So I'm not sure he sees everything going on, but I don't particularly blame him on this particular incident.
You understand what you're saying?
Yes, I do.
You didn't see him?
Yeah, because I was coding, I was answering the phone and back and forth, and all of a sudden,
They do a lot of takeout.
Yeah, the cover coming in, I was surprised what's going on, and even my bartender was they coming in. These are one of the officers who come in.
He does say that you're out there every day and it's not out for business.
Recently, they're being public a lot.
You need to send them a letter serving them
Okay,
notice
yeah.
they're banned for the
Yeah, because I was
premises.
surprised when I got this letter, I mean, I wasn't totally unaware of it.
And anybody else that you think might be doing it?
Well, another problem with that, because of that one situation, I know the address, and I've been able to send them a relative, and they know where they are. But a lot of people that involved, I don't know their address, I mean, I can send them a letter to say it. So I have a problem like calling people. Because every time I ask them to call them, my police station always asks me to write a letter and send it to their address, and you get make one copy to the police and one copy to the license.
Right, that's right, but you get-
If I don't have their address, or sometimes I don't even know their names.
You know, they're on the police report, Attorney Rizzelli does that.
Sometimes
You know,
Debbie might be able to find you an address.
Yeah, these people had a Lynn address, I saw, yeah. Except for the guys out in the truck.
Well, after hearing what Upper County Office said, the motion is set for file.
With the finding.
Yeah, I think, things that since the first night he came in here, we talked about he was in a tough spot.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to be on top of this stuff. What I don't like
I'm
hearing.
looking every day right now.
What I don't like hearing, Lou, is that you didn't notice them in there.
Hmm?
See four white guys in the bar.
He said that.
I'm sorry, no
No,
disrespect.
there's plenty of white people that go down there, trust me.
No,
Dick, we have a notice to the
Four
record
of
that
them.
Ross and Sam agree on something.
I already wrote it
You did, you wrote it down?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Not yet.
No.
Communications? You want to do it?
I'm concerned about, I'm saying that guy.
We got just a letter to send to the school system.
Yep.
And,
No,
license is gone.
And we also didn't hear from, he didn't appear.
No appeals.
He sent a letter,
I haven't seen a letter.
but I have not gotten anything from the, he sent a letter directly to the ABCC. I have not gotten anything. I made a phone call today.
Okay.
They're supposed to call me back.
Was it, did you see the letter?
No.
So you haven't seen, you're just aware that he sent one?
I know he sent it to the ABCC.
Did he tell you that? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Right, because he said he was going to appeal, and he was going to appeal in the past, and he hasn't, he's missed appeals, so maybe that's the case again. We haven't received any notification from the
No
Lyon County.
notification from the ABCC.
He's closed.
He's not open, I have his license.
His attorney actually told me the other day, last Wednesday, that he has the place sold, is what he said.
Oh, good.
Oh, boy.
He's gonna tell something.
I heard you with that attorney with,
Okay, what are we gonna do about Max's?
oh,
Tonight, they didn't show?
I had
Did they know they
questions
were
for
supposed
him.
to show?
No, they
that's his
Okay,
father.
so in all fairness, what's we do?
I'll talk to
But
you.
they also had this, these were permission all the time to use that.
The,
Right, and they've also requested a one-day before, for Gay Pride Day.
They have, and we've granted it?
Yes.
My only issue with them is, first of all, it should have been here, but you cannot see that alley from inside. I don't know, which I believe, we went through that with the ABCC, they have to have direct view
Are these
from the.
people that haven't been, forthcoming with us about?
Yeah, they did renovations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know it's a it's a big night
Yeah.
for that celebration. I don't know if we can put a stipulation on there that he has staff out in the.
Yeah,
We could.
you'd have to do that, yeah.
Make a motion to approve, providing that he verifies with us that he will have a staff member it out outside at all times.
I like that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I don't want that. I just hope he understands too, that it's not gonna set a precedent. for anything. I would Get that across.
We can do that on the one.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah.
All in favor?
We put those words in there, one-time, non-precedent setting,
Setting allowance, because they're required.
One time,
non-precedent setting.
I'll agree to that.
That's It's so
That's fine.
interesting.
No, no,
coming in here.
well, that's why I wanted them to come in, so I can.
Yeah, you should
Better,
be.
he might bring this phone again.
okay.
Kevin?
No,
they came and got their
Aye.
back.
Police reports,
Police reports,
Kevin's come in for a hearing.
yep, all of them.
I didn't, I've just got this tonight, so I apologize.
Tony's left.
Kevin and Tony, yep. Yep, yep. Bring them on.
Hearing? Was it?
Any other communications we accept from file?
So moved.
We don't have to do anything about the happy hour regulations, right? Public hearing?
No, unless you want to go to one of the meetings.
Motion adjourned?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, come on, I gotta get home.